Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
If you live in the Tucson, Arizona area or anywhere around Tucson, listen up. This is what is going to be happening. Come April 1st, your city will no longer be able to house and take care of all of these illegal migrants that are entering into Arizona and coming to Tucson. April 1st, they're out of money. So far, the federal government has been funding Tucson $1 million a week to take care of these illegal migrants. They're housing them, feeding them, giving them clothes, giving them medical care, airplane tickets, you name it, they're getting it. But the money is gone. And the government leaders of Tucson, Arizona say, we don't want to rely upon the citizens' taxpayer money to pay for these migrants. So we will be releasing them out into the streets of Tucson. Once the people enter, once the migrants cross over into America, they'll be loaded up on the Border Patrol buses. They'll be processed, and then they will be sent into Tucson, Arizona. One government leader, she said, well, they're going to hang out in Tucson until they figure out where their final destination is. Like they're literally on a trip, where their final destination is as to where they want to fly to in America. It is very frightening. President Biden, he has been in Arizona the past couple of days, and he's been begging the Latino voters. He says, I need your vote. Latino voters helped me win in 2020. So he's in desperate need of these Arizona Latino voters to vote for him. He says that Trump despises Latinos, and he says that Trump said that these open borders is poisoning America, which it is. I totally agree with that. This is not sustainable. We cannot take all these people in. We don't know who's coming in. Dangerous criminals are coming in, and we cannot take care of these people. We need to secure our borders. This is a travesty, a crime to the American people, and if you live in Tucson, be prepared. It's coming your way. I know it's already there, but it's going to be worse.
Check, 1, 2, test. Peace, people. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. Let's do our normal drill. Let's make sure everything technical is working here. Let's go to your comments. If you're on Facebook, if you're on X, or if you're on YouTube right now, you can go ahead and comment. Also, you can comment on Rumble in the chat and talk to one another. I just can't bring those comments on the screen because I don't have that capability yet. Rumble doesn't have that capability yet with the current program that I use. But on all those other platforms, you can comment. We're going to interact tonight. As a matter of fact, you guys are going to carry the show for me tonight because I am tired. You guys see how hard I work. You guys are going to be my assistants tonight. So you're going to carry me in the comments. All right. So let me get rid of my name over there. Hopefully everybody's hearing me okay. Let's check one thing real quick. To my surprise, let's see. Hold on. To my surprise, yes. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Now we're live on Facebook. Apparently, it didn't go up on Facebook right away. And I just had to do a double check, and now it's up. They changed a setting on me. So here's what we're going to do. If you're watching me on Rumble, if you're watching me on X, okay. Hopefully everybody's jumping in. There we go. Yes, there was a delay. It was a Facebook thing. So we're going to give everybody a couple minutes here now. Due to that, I did not know that. But here's the good news, though, or the crazy news. I don't have an explanation. So we're on Facebook. I have no idea why. Okay, because I have a 3 different three different restrictions. One of them says I can't go live, but I'm streaming live right now. So, all right, good. Okay, so people are coming in the comments right now. Sorry for the delay, folks. Good, here we go. So let's do this. Let's bring it up. All right, and all right, I'll take down my name. All right. Again, if you are new and just tuning in, it just takes us a couple minutes to get underway here. We'd like to get everybody. A lot of people do that with their podcast too. Like everybody to give it a minute to come on in. Sorry for the little Facebook delay there, guys. Hey, Barb, no worries. My good friend Sandra. Hot dog. All right. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Diane, how are you? Penny in the house. All right. Happy Monday. Yes, it's Monday in Norway. Norway, welcome to the show. That's awesome. Is this not on YouTube? It is on YouTube. I just don't push it as much. I push the Rumble stream the most because that's most important to me, and it should be most important to Patriots over YouTube any day of the week. So, all right. God evening, Bruce and Patriots. It is a God evening. All right. Daryl's in the house. Everybody's jumping on now. Excellent. We'll give everybody a minute or two here. If you want to watch the replay, because it's already pre-recorded in the beginning, I just played a couple videos that were already on my timeline. They had to do with the border. It was the well-produced one talking about the why the invasion of the border is going on, and then I just played the clip, which most of you probably seen, of the lady in the Patriot in Tucson, Arizona, talking about good evening, talking about the funding coming to an end April 1st. So when we were talking about that, and I'll just talk about this real quick right now before we get everything else going here. I'm kind of monitoring your comments at the same time. But the whole idea of that, and I gave it some thought, is, we've all been complaining, and rightfully so. We've been complaining about them putting the illegals before us. And at the same time, they're housing them, they're giving them money, they're giving them food, they're giving them allowances, everything. And yes, that pisses us off to high heaven, no question about that. But the lady from Arizona, from Tucson, raises a very good point. And she says the funding's coming to the end out there come April 1st. Now, you would think that would be a good thing, but in rational thought would say, no, this is a very dangerous thing, because they're bringing them over here. They're giving the goodies that they need. All right. Housing or whatever. I'm sure it's not the greatest accommodations, but some places it is. It just depends where you're at. You might be in a luxury hotel in New York City for all I know. But if that funding comes to an end, the idea, the thought of the crime wave that's going to begin, what a better way. If I'm putting myself in the mindset of the evil players, if you will, and what a better way to unleash absolute pandemonium in the streets of America by just, let's stop funding them. Let's keep them on the streets and not give them a thing. They know they're going to have to rob and steal, commit crime, and it will get violent and out of control. Speaking of violent and out of control, one thing is that I want to mention, it's this Tuesday at 8 p.m. and I will have a guest on. This Tuesday at 8 p.m. we will do the live podcast on preparedness. Again, even though it's live, like I'm live right now, everything you can watch the replay. It's always up. So if you don't have the luxury of tuning in live to join in the chat, you'll be able to see the replay at any given time. And they're always on Rumble for sure, and YouTube. It depends on the show, what show I do. Right now, tonight, I don't have anything that would get me pretty much flagged on Facebook or YouTube. So I'm conscious of that. Okay. All right. Got your new name, Bruce Snyder, Patriot dude. Nice. Speaking of, if you don't know this by now, I have a new Facebook page. If you go on my Facebook page that I'm on right now, pinned to the top on my page at the very top, and you go to the very first comment and click on that, or just go into my bio and hit my link tree. My link tree is in every one of my bios on every one of my social media pages, and that link tree link has all of my social media platforms. But I created a new Facebook page. I started getting warnings. I saw that. I did get flagged today. I had content removed. It was one of the Russian videos. And I did appeal it, which it was strange, and it did come back. So I don't know what the heck is going on at all. So by appealing it, I guess it worked. I don't know. There's a lot of times that I don't appeal. I don't, because I'm so used to just getting deplatformed, if you will. And an update too, real quick as well, about Pop Talk. And I'm not straying, but I'm just saying, when I was talking about the lady in Arizona, how dangerous that is. It's a thought to think of that. And I don't want to start fear mongering, but it's about awareness. And then I said about this Tuesday night at 8 p.m., we're going to have a show about preparedness. Okay. And then I will have Josh on. Josh is my friend, the young man in the service. He's now a veteran from the U.S. Air Force. And I had talked to him. I said, listen, we're going to do a show about preparedness. Bring your military skills in here and let's talk about the average thing and let's give some insight to the folks at home. So on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we're going to do that. All right. And then the same thing. Whenever I do a live podcast, you can always rest assured I'll advertise it during the day and I'll put the links out and leading up to the time. So you'll never be pretty much in the dark at all. So it's good to see you. Anna, it's great to see you too. She says it's good to see you, Bruce and friends. Now, that's another thing too. If you're new, all right, first of all, I want to welcome you to the show. If you are currently on whatever platform you're on, especially Rumble, hit that like button, please, and follow us on Rumble as well. Same with YouTube, but most importantly, it's that follow button and that like button on Rumble is very important. Okay. I'm just lucky to be on Facebook. I realize that. I don't concentrate on Facebook as a platform to build. It's built itself. It's got a community of patriots who are incredible, who I am very honored and flattered that you follow me. You put trust into me. And I did put a post out on my new Facebook page, and I said, your trust in me is really unbelievable. And same goes back. I'm honored that I can be a part of this community, because otherwise I'd be out here by myself talking to myself. I've done that before many times. Anyways, if you're new, all right, I want to welcome you here. I know there are a lot of new people. I've seen a lot of new faces that I've never seen before. I'm only going to assume that's as a direct result of, and this is, you'll find out I'm pretty humble to a point. Okay, I'm confident and humble. So if that, don't ever get my confidence mixed up with a sort of, a ego or a cockiness at all. I don't have that. I know how to keep that in check. That guy was a long time ago, many years ago. I'm too wise for that today. But I say that because I'm very grateful all day long. I think that's the reason I'm in this position right now. And because of my attitude that I have, my attitude towards realizing what I have and the platform that I have and the education that I have with my background in broadcast television, which was broadcast news. And so if you're new, that's my background. I do have a leg up on some folks. I see that. Okay. So me jumping into this arena, when you'll notice when Trump came into office and then the term truthers came out, and then people started their truther platforms, and then they started podcasts and all that. Well, I pretty much was way before that. And that's not me patting myself on the back. I'm just giving you a background that I come from a background in broadcast television. I went to production school, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, since the beginning of 1990, even prior to that in the 80s, before schooling and all that. I picked up a Super 8 and film camera, and then the over-the-shoulder camcorders came out, and I would film everything. And then I went to school, then I got into news and sports and directing and producing and all that stuff. So now, like I've said many times before, I have never thought of myself in front of a camera ever. This was not the plan at all. But then again, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So my plans didn't work out so good. But here I am, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this, to do what I do. I do get nervous about this. I always question myself. I never, ever, ever watch my replays of my shows. I have no interest in doing that, because, and I now I understand. I believe actors who say once they do their work, they don't go back and watch that. I believe the ones who do say that, because I never go back and watch my stuff unless there's a reason I got to go in and edit a clip out or something. But other than that, It's done. You guys enjoy it. I'll never go back and look at it again. So here we are. And what makes me, just like you, what makes me qualified to have an audience here tonight on different platforms and have people listen to me? Okay, that's a fair question. All right. Sure, the ones who've been following me a long time, I have a proven track record. There's no doubt about that. But I'd have to say that my love for what is going on now really came when I was a kid. And especially, I think I said my first awakening moment. Uh, it wasn't a total awakening at all, but it was a question mark about things. Was when I was in school and Ronald Reagan was shot. And so when Ronald Reagan was shot, I remember just being glued to that television and paying attention to everything that the news was reporting, how they were reporting it. I wanted to get all the information I could. And I was just, now I'm not saying I was drawn to a tragedy. I wasn't drawn to a tragedy. What I was drawn to was I was concerned as a kid, the repercussions from a president being shot. And we didn't even know he was in surgery. Was he going to die? And I was glued to all the information I could get. And ever since then, I've paid attention. And then I started paying attention to. I remember even as a kid, I'd watch Walter Cronkite at night. So, and I'd watch. You'd watch your 6 o'clock news, and at 6:30 was your world news. And you didn't have cable television prior during that time, but I just invested all my time into that. And when major news stories broke, I always paid very close attention to that. There was a different time too. Many of you can relate to this because we're all in that same age demographic, if you will. And back then, especially prior to cable, when something like, for example, what just happened in Russia, all right, there was a time that regular scheduled programming would be interrupted, and it would be nonstop for, if not for that evening, and depending on the magnitude of whatever the event was, for days. And you would forget your programming, forget your soap operas, forget all that stuff. All right. You would have 24/7 coverage. Now, the current coverage of the Russia attack from the other day is very minimal. Now, I have not had the opportunity, because I've been very busy. I have not had the opportunity to listen to CNN or MSNBC to hear the narrative. Now, if you're new and you're wondering, why am I watching CNN and MSNBC? Well, it's quite simple. It's because I get information, not the information I get from those networks is I need to know what narrative they're selling. I know they're fake news. We all know that. But I'd love to hear the narrative that they're currently selling, and I check in a few times a day. I don't watch it, okay? I don't have time. I don't even have time to watch like Fox per se, which is a big disappointment in itself. But I tune in to hear the narrative because it would give me an idea of, okay, they're lying, so I know it's the opposite. But I'm trying to listen what they're telling folks out there. And we do have people who do listen to those networks still. Now, something about awakening. All right. We're going to get into the Russia stuff here in a minute. And then I'm going to play a few videos that you haven't seen, I do believe. And then we're going to get into the topic of the show here, this is the part of the show where you're going to carry me. We're going to be talking about being awake and alone. And we're going to play that video once more of that woman. If you haven't seen it, stick around. If you have seen it, we're going to play it again. It's good to hear it again. All right. So, and I thought it was an absolutely amazing. So that's what gave me the idea to kind of do tonight's show about that. But again, if you are new, and like I said, this is how I do my news reporting. I pay attention. I've done it since I was a kid. I have a background in broadcast television, and I use all those skills. All right. Now I have a season in my adult life where I went down a very dark and disturbing road for a very long time. And I'm not going to make that show about this tonight. I'm just because I got a lot of new people here, and I realize that. And I went down a very dark and disturbing road in my life. So I had to take a season, I called it. It was a long season um, of trying to get my act together, let's say. Made some very, very bad choices. I'm a very transparent person. When I decided to take this microphone and come in front of people, I said, I will be transparent. I will never hide a thing because I don't think that's a good idea. And a part of my little ploy, even though you're here for the news, there is another side to me that I'm like, okay, I can rope some people in because I like helping people. All right. And I come from a background where a dark, disturbing past of alcoholism addiction. And I made some very poor choices, got me in trouble. Um, and that's, I've done my testimony before. We've talked about it several times. And those are pretty good shows. Those are high rated shows, believe it or not, when we talk about those things. And we'll do that again. I promise you that because I said we'd do that again. And because I have people who just submitted about this type of recovery show that I'm working on right now because I want to bring some positive to the light because I'm about to go into some stuff with Russia that's completely disturbing, right? But I need to bring in positivity into the world, even in the midst of staring down the barrel of World War III and the possibility of nuclear war. I still need to bring positivity into the world. That's why also I love humor. And that's why some of my posts have humor in them. I love humor. I don't like drama. I've had enough in my life of drama. All of you right now, we're going through a lot of drama. And we're leading into the topic here shortly. And we're going to get your comments really going on those shortly here. As soon as I touch on a couple news stories, and then we're going to talk about being awake. But here's the thing. Another thing about being awake. Is it okay? I stopped quite a long time ago trying to wake people up. I realized that I'm on a little bit of a different scale, if you will, with reporting the news. But if my news reaches somebody, fine. That's great. All right. But I don't try to wake anybody up. I believe we've crossed that line to where I don't think we need to. Now, let me back up on that. Okay. When I back up on it, and keep your comments coming, trust me, I'm going to get to them. I lost my train of thought. Because somebody said something in the comments just now, and I apologize for that. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys are making me laugh. Stop, please. Anna's in the comments, and she just said something that made me laugh, and then whatever. Thanks. We have fun. All right. Somebody made a comment. Okay, I'll put it up because you're going, what is he talking about? She asked me what the color of my underwear is tonight. What's the last thing you ate? We used to that was a game we'd play, and it always happened on a Saturday night. And I did that purposely on a Saturday late night because I knew people were out and they were probably having a few drinks. And that's what we did. We did this thing. Name the it was if you're the name of you're an 80s rock star, and what is your name? And it was the color of your underwear and the last thing you ate. So for me tonight, it would have been what did I have for dinner? I'd probably be black roast beef. So I don't know how I'm going here because you lost my train of thought. Now, don't start that in the comments, okay? You're gonna kill me. All right. My point is, I love humor, and about being awake. I don't think we're at that point. We've crossed that point, at least for me. I don't try to wake people up. They're on their own now, the way I look at it. But here's my disclaimer, and this is where I lost my train of thought. My disclaimer is, as it continually gets worse, and I promise you, it is March 24th, 2024, it will get worse, okay? And it's not for you to panic, but it's going to get much worse for people who are actually asleep. I think it's a great idea for you to remain open and willing to talk to people who have questions. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. This is just my philosophy, okay? So if somebody comes to me and says, all right, it's just getting so bad, and they're on the other side, they were just whoever they were, Trump bashers, Democrat, whatever they were. But as they become awake, just say, okay, hey, I'll show you something. Here's what's going on. The one thing I will not do is shove it down somebody's throat. I just told you just a few minutes ago. I'm very transparent. I have a past of alcoholism and addiction. When I got sober, people said I had to have God in my life. And the last thing I wanted to hear was anything about God. Because right now, all I needed to do was feel better and turn the noise off inside my head. All right, that was all I thought about. And then if you're going to I'm going to run away. I'm going to run away when I'm in a state of mind where I'm not ready for everything like that. Okay. But as time went on, and for example, when I got more sobriety under my belt, I'm thinking clear-headed. I'm making choices now that are very rational and not controlled by being under the influence. I was more open and receptive to hearing more about God and what these people did and go down the road, because they took their time with me. They backed off and they knew what they were doing. It's the same thing with the awakening right now. We have to be very gentle about it, and we have to be humble about it and wise about it at the same time. Don't scare anybody off. You have a great responsibility out here if those opportunities present themselves to help somebody else and to show them these things, but just be very careful about that. That's my advice for tonight. So here we are. All right. So I'd like to touch on, before we get underway here with, and we're half an hour in, but before we get underway with the topic of the show. All right. Hi guys, keep your comments coming. It's wonderful to see you. It is good to see you there. We got people on every platform right now. I'm just checking real quick. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. Very good. Okay. So, all right, let's talk about the Russia situation. Now, when I make a statement here, okay, I'm doing this because there are new people here, and I started off the show to tell you that I have a humility about me, but I have a great confidence about me. Okay, and I know how to keep the two together. So I am not one of those podcasters who will come on here, or even on my platforms. I will not come on here and brag. Okay, I'm very careful with the "I told you so's," and I'm very careful with pointing out when I'm right. But okay, when I do point out I'm right, it's not for my own selfish reasons. It's to say, look, the reason I was right, because like I said at the beginning of this, I was born to do this, and I do know what I'm talking about. And I say that because not only with my background in education, because I know God has it on my heart. God has it on my heart. And the discernment he's given me, I've got this clear vision right now. Okay. I got very clear vision. And a lot of you out here totally understand what I'm talking about. You have this vision. It's clear. You are awake to many things. And that's the part that comes in about being lonely, because it is very difficult. And I'm getting into this part of the show. It is very difficult to be around people. And I'll give you my experience here in a few minutes, as soon as we get through these couple news topics, to be around people and I don't know what the word is, feel comfortable, if you will. Those who aren't awake, it's got to be very difficult. So keep that in mind. We're going to get to that shortly here. All right. I see your comments coming. We're going to get them on the screen. I promise you, because you guys are going to do the interacting during that topic here coming up shortly. But back to Russia. So Russia had the terrorist attack. This is no news to anybody. You knew that. I pretty much, this is the part where I'm going to say a few things that I predicted. I pretty much said I couldn't predict this particular terrorist attack in Russia. No, but I just knew something was coming. I think this is one of many things to come. Okay. One of many things to come. There is news right now. Okay. There are things going on online among certain channels that I do follow and kind of respect. Well, I do respect. But getting this information is red flag for me, because how would they get this information? But there are rumors, but it's some pretty credible accounts that I follow. that Russia is gearing up in the next 24 to 48 hours to have a massive aerial strike against Ukraine. All right. Let's talk about tonight. What happened tonight? Now, if you've been on my page, you've seen it. If you've been on my Telegram, you've seen the graphic of it. I could not post that stuff to Facebook. No way, shape, or form. I do have a TikTok page too. I can't post any of that, the graphic stuff there. They take it down. But what I witnessed tonight, and let's play this, and I'll tell you my opinion. This couple videos you've seen, a couple you have not. So here we go. This is the terrorist. They've been caught. They are detained. They've already went to court today. This is how quick Russia, Putin is working. These images that are just flooding, they're coming out of Russia, are done on purpose. They are done on purpose to show the world right now on the world stage. Here's a video right here. So these are the terrorists. The four, they've arrived. They're arriving there at the courthouse, Russian courthouse today on a Sunday. As you can see, these images are done on purpose. Okay, now you can see how they're dragging them. Now, if that happened to a perp here, all right, we'd have the left going crazy. We would be having a complete meltdown in America, the way they're being treated. We'd be, the NFL would be wearing a certain color for awareness on Sunday. And you know the drill and what would happen. All right. 4 of them came in. Here's a still shot of the 4. There are things I can't show on here because we're streaming to Facebook and YouTube, but let me bring this up. Here's a picture of the 4 in court today, short while ago. There's the 4 of them. Can you imagine? If you saw this in the United States. Those are still shots of the 4. They're obviously wearing track suits, like the jogging suits. They are Adidas, because I zoomed in to look at the label. The Russian guys love those over there, those track suits, track pants. The one on the bottom of your screen there, on the bottom right, with the orange backing, I'm about to play his clip here in a moment. He did not get escorted in the way the other 3 did. Okay. He was escorted in because he needed a wheelchair and they have a, what do they call that? God, what's the name of that? It's escaping me. Whatever. The bag for your urine, where that's how he's urinating. So I don't know what they did to him. And they brought him in, and you could see that his pants are full of urine. And you're about to see that here. And I know it's disgusting, but it's something the world needs to see. Here's them coming. Here's a quick shot of them. One of them coming into the court. Okay. Here are some close-ups of the individuals. They took them into the courtroom and they put them in this like box, this glassed-in box, if you will. I guess that's maybe the way they do it there in Russia.
Так, секунд. Проходим. Дальше. Пожалуйста, кто?
Так, сразу напоминаю, судью не снимаем.
Игорь. Пусти. Присядьте, кто впереди.
Okay, so there's one, and I know what you're thinking right now. This is my opinion only. I'm going to play a couple more. My opinion only. A lot of you said they look drugged. Of course they look drugged. I don't think they're drugged. All right. I think what it is bottom line, sleep deprivation and torture. Okay. How can I say torture? not just by the looks on their face, because I have the videos. They released videos showing torture. You know that saying FAFO, F around and find out? That's what Russia did. I know exactly what's going on. Putin said, we are going to show the world on the world stage that we're not effing around. Which the clock is ticking right now, folks, for what's to come. And I don't believe at all that Russia, that Putin is a man who acts on emotion. He's not going to get sucked into this emotionally, even though it's got to be quite difficult there for his own people. What just happened, they had their kind of a, I don't know if this is fair, like a more of a smaller scale 9/11, small scale, but unbelievably terrible and evil at the same time. Here's another one of the four.
Федерации Полунова, обвиняемого Рачабализады и его защитника адвоката Болдырева, представившего удостоверение ордер, переводчика Бабаджанова, рассмотрел в закрытом судебном заседании постановление следователя по особо важным делам второго следственного отдела управления.
So, what I'm going to tell you about this one here, all right, is, hold on a minute, let me get, all right. So, that one there, somebody called me out on my Telegram page saying, oh, that's fake. I'm like, and I answered back. I said, well, okay, it's fake. Supply me with why it's fake. And somebody said, well, this is a movie. I have a hard time with that whole movie thing. I know where it comes from. I understand the meaning behind it, the idea behind it. Okay. I can tell you this. What we are witnessing, maybe some things are staged. I get that. But I promise you, the majority of everything is absolutely real. How is it real? I'll tell you right now. I have friends that you know nothing about who have died during this. Okay? As a direct result of open borders because of overdosing on fentanyl. So if this is a movie and fentanyl is killing everybody at a rapid rate, then explain that to me. This is why I won't buy into that narrative at all. I do believe that things are needed to be done for people to be awake. I understand that. And many of you may disagree with what I just said, but I am not one of those guys. And if you're new, I don't fall under certain things to where saying I am not the guy to say everyone's in Gitmo, everyone's an actor, this is a movie. Bottom line, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. People are really dying. And if I could show you my messenger, which I won't, but just an idea, if I could show you my messenger about people who have reached out to me, who are listening to me probably right now, that would tell me, okay, things that have happened in their family, people that they've lost or died. And it is a direct result of what is happening in this country. So this is not fake, folks. I'm not saying we just witnessed a false flag in the form of a terrorist attack under ISIS, which we know is all BS. Here's the thing. Back to this picture. I have the still shot there. So I said, this is where I was going. Somebody said, this is a movie. No, it's not a movie. So you have to understand, this is not America. This is Russia. All right. They don't play around. And they realize right now, what is happening. And what is happening? It's not just about a terrorist attack and 4 individuals. These individuals are pawns. They're patsies. But Putin realizes that he is on the doorstep of possible World War III and nuclear war. And he controls that. He absolutely controls that. They are egging him on to get involved. Just last night, there was more bombings. And now Poland is accusing Russia of going into their airspace with drones and missiles. NATO is in an uproar about that. Folks, they are itching. And you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to say, holy shit, look what just happened. But actually, the people who are asleep are going to say that. And they're going to sell you that Vladimir Putin is the evil dictator of the world, and we're about to go to nuclear war, and he did A, B, and C and stuff. Zelensky, who I have queued up here in a minute, just going off the deep end about the attack and basically calling names to Russia instead of playing the down card of saying my condolences go out there and blah, blah, blah. But he's just egging him on and egging him on. So the picture that you're seeing right there, all right, I have the video. I saw it. They chased these men in the woods, all right? If you're on Telegram, you probably saw it too. They chased these men in the woods. They caught up with this particular guy here. And out of all of them they caught, I watched them. They didn't detain them like cops. They beat the crap out of them. Yes, this is barbaric, all right? But look what just happened. They cut his ear off. And apparently, the way the video went, it looks like they even shoved it in his mouth. Now, that's disgusting, and you're going to say it's cruel and unusual. Here's what's cruel. An entire organization called NATO egging on nuclear war. That's what's really happening. So there's not time to play games. There's no time to waste. All right? This isn't about being barbaric. This is a message to NATO and what they're doing. This is not a game. I'm just telling you folks right now, this is not a game. Here's another one. Here's the one that they brought in. Let me get back to my go there. Here's the one in the wheelchair. I'll play two different shots of that, I think. 1, 2. Hold on. 1, 2. Yeah, okay. There's a shot. There's one angle there. You could see that in kind of a glass holding type cell in the courtroom. They're obviously purposely making a spectacle out of him. Here's another angle. You can see that was a colostomy bag. You can see the bag. You can see the tape. You can see his pants are yellow. All right. These guys have already, from what I understand, just before I came on the show tonight, they've already pled guilty, if you will. They're not messing around. If this happened in America, okay, let me go to your comments. If this happened in America, all right, we'd be dragging this out forever. All right. They're not wasting time. Yes, there are other images that have come out. I've seen it. I put the one on my Telegram. They have him naked, well, with his pants down, and they're just like if you saw Zero Dark 30, the movie in the beginning, where the Americans have one of the enemies, I don't know, at the time that was, so Zero Dark 30, that would have been perhaps Al-Qaeda. So they pulled down his pants and they put electric things on his manhood and electrocuted him that way. And that just happened in Russia. They released a picture. That picture doesn't just get released. Okay. These guys under Putin who are doing this are not going to take a risk and put something out here in the world of the internet world. Okay. And risk that when Putin doesn't want it seen. It's obviously that Putin wants this to be seen. Now, I'm not a guy who's for violence, war, or torture whatsoever. But in the face of the enemy and evil at this time, you're pretty much leaving no choice. I don't like it. I don't condone it. But I understand the circumstances and the urgency of why he's showing all this to the world. That's my opinion, okay? I do realize how serious this is, folks, okay? We are no longer, go back years ago, we are no longer at the point where you come on a truther's channel and they start telling you all this stuff. Like the one I never bought into is that, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but the one I never bought into was anytime I never uttered these words, not once. All right. All these truthers would come out and said they heard this, they heard that the election's getting overturned tomorrow morning in the Supreme Court. And I'm like, how could you post that stuff? Okay. It's just irresponsible to do that. Now I could say this because we could look back upon it and it was all baloney, all BS. So they ruined their own reputations is what they did. All right. because of all the lies and the lies and the lies. And somebody will give them a free pass and say, well, they took an educated guess. All right. No, they didn't take an educated. You know what? Fine. You take an educated guess one time, but you don't keep coming on your page and promoting something. And it's just not true. Stop the propaganda out there, folks. We are in the fourth quarter. Be responsible with what you post. Okay. Stop the crazy madness of the tabloid. I call it the tabloid and National Enquirer, like the National Enquirer tabloids at the end of the grocery market in the aisle there at the checkout. That's got to stop. We are at a critical point now. Get real and truthful information out here to people. They're going to need it because I'm going to get shut down. Say goodbye to me on Facebook. This is a luxury right now. I know you're watching on X and Rumble and YouTube, but for me to be on Facebook, where my biggest audience happens to be, I'm gone. I don't know when. You know I'm gone. I created a backup page. You know that's not going to last, but I'm just trying. I'm keeping going at it. I'm in the 40-some accounts by now. Okay. Now, this one here, now look. Let me go here. Put that on the screen. That was Donald Trump today. All right. And he reposted about the Instagram thing going down. Now, Instagram went down the other day. Who is Meta? Who is Facebook? All right. I don't have an Instagram account. I did, but I kept getting suspended too. I'm like, forget it. I don't even want to bother anymore. So they took it down. And then what he's pointing out here is when they had their little blackout, whatever it was, they went in, the sneaky bastards that they are, and they played with all your settings and they slowed down your content to see political posts, news political posts is what they did. Okay. And that's what they did. Facebook's doing the same thing. I'm sure it's probably in there somewhere. I haven't even looked. I do know that in, what's today, 24th? So in a few days, there's this thing happening on Facebook come April, something about their news stream as well. So if they did it at Instagram, they're going to do it here. This is just the beginning. And my prediction is that sometime later in April, mid to late April is my prediction, is that this great purge, like we've never seen it before, is going to happen again. There's another screenshot that I did not bring up, which Donald Trump did post. He posted about Dish Network. Okay. The Department of Justice decided to drop the lawsuit that they had. Now, first of all, I have not read the story. This is not right of me to do. All right. Because I wouldn't post this without researching it. So I don't know. But by the headline and Donald Trump posting it, and he said, here we go again, I can pretty much guess what it's about. So apparently today or just, this weekend, whatever, the Department of Justice dropped some suit against Dish Network. Well, the Department of Justice doesn't wake up one morning, decide to just drop everything. Okay. It sounds to me like they were strong-arming Dish Network into information. And the presidential election is coming up. And of course, they know whatever is on the horizon with a false flag and how the coverage, how they want the coverage to be covered, how they want their narrative to get out. So all they're doing, without me reading the story, and I'll do that later tonight to make sure I was right, is that they're strong-arming someone like Dish Network. And they're making Dish Network kiss their boot. So they go along with their narrative. They lost, thank goodness. No, really, thank God Almighty that Elon Musk bought Twitter. Can you imagine right now where we would be at without that platform being controlled by someone who's remaining neutral? I mean, we'd be on Telegram. Truth Social is an echo chamber. I'm sorry, but it is. All right. They have a lot of work to do over there. It just doesn't get the reach that it should. That's just my opinion. All right. I love Rumble. Facebook is terrible, as we know, and it's about to get worse. Facebook's going to become an echo chamber. You're going to be back to if you want to go back to the Stone Age, you're going to go back to the beginning in Facebook to where you were able to post the pictures of your pets, your cat, your dog, or the meal that you ate for dinner that night, or your garden or whatever it is. That's how it's going to become again. That's the direction it's headed. Now that's okay. That's good stuff. But as far as information goes, it's going to go out the window. They're going to throw everything at us right now. Do I fear? Hypothetically, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I said I don't do what ifs, but I'm going to do kind of one right now. But let's just say, which I know it won't happen. Let's just say that they do cheat enough and they steal the election again. Okay, people are in big trouble because I think they're not making a move on Julian Assange right now for a certain reason, because they're going to come after people. There are so many more people who have much bigger platforms than me. I'm a little microcosm of the podcast world, okay? But they're going to come after them and myself, and they're going to silence us. It's going to be more than just a typical censorship. They're going to throw you in jail. If they did that with the January 6th guys, who are still rotting away as we speak, keep prayers for them. If they did it with those guys, what's going to stop them from doing that with the truth? The thing that's not a conspiracy theory is the New World Order, the deep state, the elites controlling the puppet masters, if you will, controlling everything in government, in the court of law, in education, in the finance department, everywhere. These are the people pulling the strings. And of course, they're going to come after us. The New World Order wants to control everything. This is exactly why it is Russia, because they can't control Russia. They want to control the world, but they can't control the greatest nuclear power, the biggest landmass, Russia. This is why they are doing everything they can. The clock is ticking. You can literally feel it and hear it and see it. We are up against time. We are not walking into no presidential election on November 5th, 2024, unless a major event takes place prior to that, to where they can restore order before November 5th. Now, you're saying at home, well, Bruce, what are you talking about? Anything can happen, folks. I don't have a magic ball. I can only take educated guess in the possible scenarios of what's to come. I'm not doing a podcast on Tuesday night for nothing on preparedness. I never, ever uttered the words or made a post over the years to tell you I may have once said it during COVID. All right. Because we were locked down so much. It wasn't to say the event or events, if you will, are on the horizon. I can tell you now, they are on the horizon. There's no question they are on the horizon. All right. All right. We're going to get to your comments in a second. I promise you. But it is on the horizon. You can feel it. Now, if you don't believe me, that's perfectly fine. I don't think I do anything or say anything. I know for a fact that I come across in a calm and cool manner. I collect my thoughts. I use ration. I don't allow emotion to control me. And everything that God has given me, the discernment that I have, to use a rational thought and logical thinking. Now, who told us that? Now, I knew this prior to all that, but that 17 that I talked about talks about using logical thinking, folks. All right? They said they know their playbook. The Democrats are going, it's like the Democrats go to the Super Bowl every year with the exact same playbook. And that's how some of us can really predict the future, because they're so stale. They're so stagnant in their playbook that they don't even try to change the play. You just know they're so predictable. And here we are. That is how I am able to logically figure things out that are going to happen in the future. It really is not that difficult. It's not. Yeah, I'm just looking at your comments. Keep them coming. All right, so here we go. We're about to. Okay, we're an hour in here, and in a couple minutes here, we're going to jump into your comments and about being awake and alone. Here is. Let's switch topics now. I'm going to get off of Russia. I'm not even going to play the Zelensky clip that I have queued up. Don't worry about that. It's on my timeline if you want to go see it. He basically called Putin worthless, useless, or something worthless, I think it was. just said things that are just, to me, it's like, all right, they're egging on Putin right now. They're egging him on. Which reminds me, as you all know, you can count on me 24/7 to break in at any time with news. Now, I'm in the middle of the night sleeping. I have people who will kind of keep blowing my phone up if something major goes. But I will always get on air. You can count on me to bring you the news. All right. Again, real quick update on Pop Talk, because I think I forgot to talk about that. It's coming soon. They're still down. It's not a negative thing. This is a very positive thing. They're revamping everything and setting it up so they don't have to worry about the attack they just had. And it's going to be like Pop Talk 2.0. I can say this on behalf of Art out there, who, guys, you know who he is. All right, Art, who was one of the CEO of the company. He knows. I talk to him all the time. So it is coming. All right. And then once that comes, I'll inform you. Get on there. Stop. The worst thing you can do is put all your eggs in the basket on Facebook and to be left in the dark, because you're going to be left in the dark. And if you're searching for news, and if all you have is Facebook and the I don't even know what the word I want to use here, and you have Fox News, that is not enough. Okay? That is just nearly not enough. Get yourself another platform. For example, I think it's a very wise idea to get the X account, get an X account. You do not have to interact. You do not have to comment, but you just have to be on there. I set one up for my mother. She doesn't comment. She doesn't retweet, repost. All right. But she just goes on there because she can get information without interacting. I think it's a very good thing to do. And you're going to catch me on X right now. X, I love Twitter X. All right. I love it. And I'm posting to it constantly. I think it's a great place to be for information over there. So make sure you follow. I'm at Real Bruce Snyder. Just click the link in my Linktree link in my bio description, any one of my social media platforms. All right. Tomorrow morning. All right. Let's get this last one out of the way. As of right now, I will do a check on the air right now. Let me check just real quick. Let me check to see if we got any breaking news. Give me a minute here. Just let me look. Okay. All right. So I don't see anything that's popping out as far as Donald Trump coming up, which I don't believe he will, coming up with the money for tomorrow. All right. So tomorrow's going to be interesting to see what New York, Letitia James and all them do. I predicted, and I didn't say this to the public, but I don't think I did. Maybe I did, but I might have done it on the podcast. But I told family that Trump won't come up with it. And part of me thinks that not only that it's too difficult to get that kind of money, that cash, I think this is part of the awakening process. Let's do this. Now, this is a long clip. This is 5 minutes, guys. After this clip, then we're going to start talking about being awake and alone, and we're going to carry out the show and end it that way. I'm going to play this 5-minute clip. You may have seen it. Let's get through it again. I think it's important. This was who I think is great. I love Eric Trump. I think he's I think he has a shot at being president one day. No disrespect to Don Jr. I like Eric Trump. I think Eric, I have nothing negative about Don Jr. I just like the way Eric presents himself. Okay. Here's Eric this morning on Maria on Fox News.
First question, of course, is how are you dealing with this? What is your plan to meet this judgment?
Yeah. Well, it's so sad. First of all, I'm a guy that grew up in New York. My father built the skyline of New York, and this is an election interference. And they go out and they ask you to post a $500 million bond. Maria, I want to put that in context. I went out to the largest sureties in the world, the largest sureties in the country. They said, Eric, the last time we've seen a bond of that size is when we did the Big Dig in Boston, which was a $25 billion construction project that lasted almost 25 years. They're trying to put my father out of business. They're trying to take all his resources that he would otherwise put into his own campaign for presidency. This is New York State. This is what we're seeing. Letitia James campaigned on this promise, and now they're making him do something that's not physically possible. Putting up a $500 million bond, bonds that size don't exist in this country. A $10 million bond is a large bond. A $15 million bond is an enormous bond. A $500 million bond? And Maria, remember one thing. The banks all testified Trump was the greatest borrower we've ever had. I mean, there was no victim. This is a crooked system with a crooked attorney general in a crooked court that literally wants to put my father out of business. And you know who they're actually going to hurt? They're going to hurt the thousands and thousands of employees that we have in New York State. These are janitors. These are doormen. These are, people that work in commercial buildings. They're going to hurt those individuals, not the executives. They're going to hurt those individuals. How about all the contractors that we employ to do build outs? How about everybody else that relies on our family, thousands of people, all for their own political vendetta? It's insane.
I'm trying to understand how this number came about, $454 million or $464 million, and what the real number is. How did they come up with this number?
You know what? It was a crooked number. There are no victims. There is no number. Right. The number should be zero. My father's run a great company. I run a great company. We've never had a default. We've never missed a payment. We've never been in a breach of covenant. Every single one of our lenders came out, and he goes out, and the judge comes out and says, I want to take disgorgement. I want to go back, and I want to take interest rates that you paid on mortgages and put it up to 10, 11, 12% and go back 20 years. And we already won this in the appellate court. The appellate court already said that there's a statute of limitation, that 99% of what he put in there is thrown out. But, Maria, this isn't about this. This is lawfare. They want to hurt my father, who is winning the presidential race right now. He's beating Biden in every single poll, in every single swing state. He came out and said he wants to put hundreds of millions of dollars of his own money into his campaign. Right. And how do they deprive him of that? They have that judge that you have on the screen right there come up with an astronomical number, give you zero time to post a bond that's not even commercially available in the United States. No one's ever seen a bond this size. Every single person, when I came to them saying, hey, can I get a $500 million bond? Maria, they were laughing. They were laughing. Yeah. Top executives of the largest surety companies had never seen anything of this size. And what, they're going to start seizing assets if he can't put up something that's not available in the United States?
You said there were no victims. No one lost any money. You've paid everything back in plenty of time. So have you heard from the business community in New York? Are you disappointed that you're not hearing more outrage from others? I mean, I've certainly heard from Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He says he's questioning whether or not he'll ever do business in New York again because of this.
Sure. And by the way, Joe Rogan's talking about it every single day, and everybody else is talking about it. The entire Florida real estate community is laughing. The judge said that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million. $18 million. You can't buy anything on the island of Palm Beach for $18 million, let alone by far the largest house. A house that's probably worth $1 billion. I mean, Maria, this is the entire Florida real estate community is laughing at this. The entire real estate community in general is petrified of New York. You know how much business New York State is losing because of this? Because they see this radical, and you even have the governor, Kathy Hochul, comes out and says, we're going to do this to Trump, but we're not going to do it to any of you. Don't worry about it. We'll do it to him, but we won't do it to any of you. Maria, they're trying to deprive him of his cash. They want to bankrupt him. They want to hurt him so badly, and it's going to backfire because he's going to win this in November, and everybody in this country universally knows exactly what these people are doing.
What happens next if they start seizing assets, and can they do that tomorrow?
Well, in terms of my father, this isn't his first rodeo. What he's had to fight through for the last 8 years, I can tell you as a son, is unthinkable. For every bullet, for every attack that you watch on your show or on TV, Maria, I can tell you there's 1,000 behind the scenes that we deal with as a family. The amount of arrows, the amount of shots that they've taken at this man, and he never, ever stops. He's the toughest guy I've ever met in my entire life. He's going to win in November. I don't care what they do to him. I don't care if they strip him of every single building, of every single property. He will never, ever, ever stop fighting. That's his conviction. That's who he is as a family. That's frankly who we are as a family. And, we've seen this game before, and they can only cry wolf so many times, Maria. And, all of America's onto it. They know what they know what's happening. Letitia James campaigned on this promise to do exactly this. That's right. It's a disgrace to New York State, and I hope the appellate court fixes this problem.
Okay, so there you go. There we go. it's troubling. It's really troubling, and we'll see what's going to happen here. I'm quite interested to see what kind of moves they make tomorrow. Already, I mean, are they? As well as I do, is that let's be nice, Bruce. Maybe kids watching that witch. All right, will take a photo. They will take photo ops. All right, they will take photo ops to slap a what do you call it? I don't know what they're gonna call it. It's not like it's not an eviction. It's they're seizing the property. So they're gonna take photo ops doing that and putting it on the doors and the yellow tape and all that stuff. They are. So yes, all right. So let's go to your comments. This just breaks my heart. Now it's time for you guys to carry me. All right. All right. Yes, it does. It is very heartbreaking. Okay. Yes, I like Eric Trump a lot too. I think that kid's going places. Of course he is. He could be very presidential down the line. I had said something the other day. I had said this is not another 4-year election for Donald Trump. I'm thinking long term is in 12. That's why it's so important for him and the vice president that he picks to carry the torch after his next 4 years. So it's going to take more than 4 years to clean up this entire mess. No question about it. So, all right. So here we go. We're going to do this. This is the part of the show where grab that video. 1 second here, folks. This part of the show, I'm going to play this clip here. Okay. And if you haven't seen it, fantastic. You're in for a treat. If you have seen it, watch it again because I want to watch it again. I want to hear this again. All right. So I stumbled upon this video late last night. And I think, was it last night or 2 days ago? Maybe 2 days ago. Stumbled upon this video. And as soon as I listened to this woman in the first minute in, I'm like, oh, you had my undivided attention. And I'm like, and I listened to the whole thing. I'm like, this is something I have to post because I knew a lot of people would be able to relate. And it was late at night and I'd wake up in the morning and look, I'm like, sure enough, it did. A lot of people were just commenting. She put it in a way about being awake and being alone, having God as well, and what it's like. A lot of people have a hard time articulating and explaining this, but it seems like this particular video, she explained it for all of us, okay? For at least most of us, all right? So let's take it here. I think it's a couple minutes. It's not long. It's not as long as that video clip, okay? All right, Red Sea moment. All right, so we're going to play this. Enjoy this. And then right afterwards, we'll talk. I'll give you a really short breakdown of my thoughts on that and a little bit of a quick story on the loneliness and being awake. And then I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments. I know in the comments, and don't put them yet because I have to monitor comments after this video. But I know you can't write a book in the comments, but I'm just going to want you to kind of expound off of this video. So here she is. Let's listen.
Is anybody else just fed up with the absolute distraction, deception, lies that everything feels like? It's really hard when you're awake and you have such a deep awareness. It's lonely. It's lonely because no one understands you. People start to think you're crazy. I've been, isolated, essentially. I feel like God has isolated me to a point where I am forced to work on my relationship with him. I am forced to find peace in him. And when you find that, it's not something you want to let go of, and you crave more and more and more of it. And you go through this so many times that you start to just feel different. You start to live life differently. It's hard for me to ignore deception. Things going on in the royal family, things going on in Hollywood, things going on with the elites. Like, we all know what's going on. Most of us at this point are awake to it, but you start to see it so fast and so clearly, and it's kind of a lonely place to be. because you start speaking out about the truth, which is crazier than fiction sometimes, and it's crazy to people and they don't understand it. And when you are living with such a deep understanding of the truth, and you know, and you can spot so clearly when someone is walking in true Jesus ways and when they're not. And I'm not perfect, I'm not even close, but I do my best to live like the Bible wants us to live, right? And when you see other people being deceptive, and then there's all these people out there that, you know, will be so quick to cry, oh, you're such a conspiracy theorist. Like, we're talking about living in truth here, okay? It's not even about the actual theories that are happening. It's just that we're clear that there's deception, and we just want the truth at this point. We want to live with honesty and transparency, and man, it's so hard. And I find myself in such a deep awareness of God and protecting my peace so much that it's hard to be around other people. The meaningless, what's the weather doing today? You know, what'd you do this weekend? Oh yeah, we're going on a trip. All that stuff is just, it's fine, but it's not, I crave such a deep, I crave honesty and truth and transparency and deep connections with people and deep conversations about life, about what's going on in our world, about God, about, you know, how hard it is to be awake sometimes, to be walking in a more biblical way and turning your life over to Jesus and what that looks like. And I find it tough. Even people that are, you know, in the church, I feel like are all hiding something. You know, we're not being honest and truthful with each other because we're either ashamed or we feel guilty or whatever. But, you know, it's so important that we can, I recently heard it's so important that we confess these things and confess our lives and be truthful and be honest. And that's what I want. And finding people who understand that. I mean, it's like, where? It's funny because I see people on this app and I'm like, I know they're out there, right? Like, we know that there are other people like us out there, but how come they're not in my friend circle? Why don't they live closer? Why are they not in my immediate friend circle? It's just a lonely place sometimes. Being awake is extremely lonely. Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And what do you do with that? It's why I just keep digging in deeper. You know, I just dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm doing this Bible study right now about, you know, our identities in Christ. And it's like, man, I've had it wrong this whole time. I have literally worried more about what my title has been at my job. My friends have thought about my situations or circumstances, what my relationships have said about whether I'm worthy to be chosen or valued or respected or not, that like I've completely lost sight of what we should be looking at, and that is God, and God first and foremost. And now I see darkness and evil so easily. It's hard. I can't listen to the same music I used to listen to. I don't see Hollywood the same. I don't see elites the same. I see the deception. I see everything for what it is. And it's like, man, everything that we thought we knew is not what we knew. It's not. And finding people that understand that and can like really go into those conversations, it's difficult to find. But if you're out there and you're one of me, just know that I'm out here too. So we're not alone.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And I can definitely relate to that without question. Let's go here. Maisie. Extremely hard to be around other people who aren't awake. I mainly associate with the other admins of the Trump groups. I'm single and I haven't dated in 4 years. Yes, it's lonely. Um, so it's funny you say that because I was going to talk about that. So, okay, real quick. And I don't want to turn the show into this. I don't like talking about it that much because I have a hard time with sympathy. I don't like it that much. It's just, I don't know how to deal with it. But, if you're new, back in 2021, I lost my wife. My wife was a great supporter of mine before she passed away, and she was one that I could bounce these things off of. Okay, I would talk to her all the time because obviously, well, she was going to hear it anyways. But no, seriously, she did have this thing. She was very scared about. She saw where the world was going, and this was back then. And she don't like the doom and gloom. She just, I respect that because sometimes you just don't want that in your mind. She was awake enough to know what was going on because she had me, and so she had all the inside information with no question about it. But perhaps too much because she would have to shut me up at times. It wasn't like I was a raving lunatic. It's just that my work was there, So but there are things I just couldn't talk about because she didn't like the fear part. She didn't want to hear about war, the possibility of nuclear war, or the craziness when we went through COVID and what the deep state's trying to do. And I miss that. Obviously, without saying, of course I miss my wife, I could talk about this today. There was just the first couple of years, I just really didn't want to talk about it. And I'm okay today to a certain point, handling my grief that way. And my loneliness is my work, okay? And what I mean by that is that helps me. My work helps me a great deal. All right. We're gonna get to your comments, I promise you. So I just I'm gonna put myself out here. I told you in the beginning of this podcast that I'm very transparent. I don't mind putting myself out there. And the reason I like that, because I learned over the years that when I do that and I allow myself to be vulnerable without worrying what people are going to think about me, is when I help other people or people are able to relate. Okay. So in my situation, like that last comment just said, I haven't dated in 4 years. Okay. So it wasn't long ago that I decided to put my foot back in the dating world, if you will. Because here's my vulnerable part. I'm lonely. It's lonely to be awake, and it's also lonely. I never thought I would move on after my wife died, but over time, it's like I had to keep listening to her because of the conversations. We had these intimate conversations in bed, and I would tell her to please, if I were to die, never be alone. Move on with your life. Don't mourn me too long. Mourn me a little bit, not too long. I want you to be happy. And I keep hearing her say that. And it's hard for me because I never pictured myself being the one here and she going before me. Okay. So on top of that, it's extremely difficult for me. All right. On a daily basis. You guys happen to know another story right now that I'm going through with my kids, and we're not talking right at the moment. All right. And that's difficult too. So this is why I work so much, all right? Because I don't want to think about these things and I stay busy. But as far as the dating world goes, I find myself, and I'm going to put it out there. I was on a couple dating sites, and I realized that I had some conversations in the little time that I have, that as soon as they found out that I was like, and I don't put it out there, I'm pro-Trump or this, but I'm conservative and I have a couple, I get shunned. All right. Now, there are other people too that are on the same page as well, which is good, but you get shunned. It's the division in this world is unbelievable. Even in that. So if you're out there and you're single and you're doing that, I understand what you're going through. Okay. I totally understand what you're going through. And, even part of my, when I had the dating profile out there, like I better put it right at the top, forget about what I'm looking for, I'm looking for hiking along walks on the beach. No, I'm a conservative. I want people with the same mindset. Okay. I don't want to indoctrinate you. I just need somebody who I'm compatible with. The Bible talks about that. I know this ain't the same thing, but they talk about being evenly yoked. I need to be evenly yoked politically. That's how crazy the world is today. I don't know what else to do. All right. I don't know what else to do. So, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But what I want to do is forget about me. I want to hear from you guys. Okay. So we're going to go through these comments here. All right. As we go. As far as that lady goes that just spoke, she's so right. Well said. All right. She talked about churchgoers. Andrea says some churchgoers are the biggest hypocrites ever. I got news for you. The church was built for hypocrites. All right. Now you're saying, Bruce, what are you talking about? How dare you? No, I'm Christian. I'm born and raised Catholic. All right. And went to Catholic school my whole life. What I mean by that is I always told the story, and one of my favorite stories was when I had a sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous. He's moved now, but and he was much older than me, and his name was John, and his story went with they got him sober, and then once he got sober, they all came to his house on a Sunday, and they picked up John to go. And I said John was like old school, he's old school, and kind of like he just did some things that are on the Tony Soprano line. Let's put it that way. Not great things, and kind of in that world. So they pick him up on a Sunday after he got sober. They drive him to church. Never went to church. Took him to church, and he says, "Where are we going?" He says, "Going in there, going to church." He goes, and John says to the guys that brought him there, he goes, "I can't go in there." He goes, "I'm the biggest hypocrite ever." And the one guy turns to him and says, "Don't worry, John. We got room for one more in there." I love that story because it makes me think, right, the reason we go to church and the reason we come to God is because we fall short. Yes, I'm a hypocrite. It's wonderful. I love that story. Oh boy. All right. So let's go back to your comments. All right. All right. Bear with me. Well, there's an interesting one. I live with a Democrat vet. Quite interesting. I'd like to hear more about that, how that goes. Okay. I have a 24, Emmy says, I have a 24-year-old son. He struggles too because he wants a conservative Christian woman. Interesting. And the world's so divided today. Oh, okay. Yeah. So here's one too. My husband has health issues, so I don't talk to him about all these issues. It stresses him. That goes back to when my wife was still alive, and I said there's just things that she just didn't want to hear because it would stress her too. And I get that, and I understand it, and I respect that. Okay. I have found my real family. I'm reading these in real time, so hopefully I'm not reading something bad. I have found my real family now, but I really enjoyed being lonely. Now I miss being the only one at the grocery store not wearing a face mask, walking like I own the shop. That's funny. All right. Yeah. All right. So sorry, guys. So fair to say that for most, upon their awakening, their circle network of family and friends has dwindled. So let me say this. Keep your comments coming. All right. I wasn't kidding. All right. I was not kidding. I realize, and this is why I get so upset when I get the platforms on Facebook, because I realize the community. I work hard to make sure this community is intact. When I go missing from Facebook, people miss me. All right. Let me say something about that. I'm flattered. All right. Fine. You miss me. Great. All right. Wonderful. I feel loved and wanted. All right. But you just don't miss me. What you really, truly miss is the community that is created because of exactly what that woman just talked about. That's what you miss. It is not me. I am not the guy that you need to put on a pedestal. All right. It's about community. Put me in that community, which I know I'm a part of this community with you guys. Then I feel really good about that. All right. I'm very honored to be a part of this. I'm very honored to have people do this. And I meant what I said. We have some obstacles to go through. It's just not going to happen in 2024. But after 2024, going in next year, I mean it. We're going to have a party. I know I could pull it off. All I got to do is put it out there, and you guys are going to sign up for the jobs. You're going to book the place. You're going to book the location. People are going to start booking their travel. You're going to take care of the food. You're going to do all of it. I'll take care of the PR. You got to do all of it. I'm showing up. I'm coming there, whether it's Texas or Florida, wherever we pick a location. I am coming. I am dead serious about that. I want to walk in there and hug, kiss, and handshake everybody. And I mean that sincerely. And I look forward to that, because what we're talking about, what that woman just talked about, a wonderful patriot, the video we just played, is just, it resonates with all of us. It really does. Of course. Yes. Florida, huh? Yeah, exactly. Good. And I want you all there. You've been warned. You have your warning. All right. That is going to happen. All right. Look at the comments coming in. I'm there. Can't wait to meet fellow patriots. Love being around like-minded people. Exactly. All right. I don't personally, and it's just not the right time to do this. But yes, you can get together at a Trump rally. Wonderful. I suggest it. You have the opportunity to go to a Trump rally. You better go. You better go. I've been to it. A Trump rally. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's a high in itself. The patriotism in it, it's not the same as watching it at home on TV. If you go and you've been to one, you understand what I mean. It's incredible. And that is, you're going to be around like-minded people. All right. Let's meet in Kansas City. It's in the middle of the country. To be honest with you, I'm being biased. I am looking for any excuse to go to Florida or Texas, because I have gained so many friends now that are in Texas that I also look forward to that too. Don't worry. These are things that we don't need to worry about at this moment. We have bigger issues to get through right now, but I get it. We're having fun here tonight. All right. Look at everybody saying I'm there. Never been to Florida, but I'll be there no matter what. See, this is fantastic. What about South Dakota? It's middle of America. And that might not be a bad idea, actually. But we'll take a poll. And I know somebody out there, all right, somebody out there is going to get us a location and an incredible rate and all that. I know you're out there. All right. I've had people offer me places to stay. And stay in their rentals and their vacation homes and stuff. And that's wonderful. I haven't done anything for years, especially when my wife passed. The most I've ever done was go to the movies. I don't have time to do that. And I realize what's going on. I wish I could. I'd love it. But I realize we got to get through 2024. We have to get through this together. We're in the last quarter. The clock is ticking, and we have to get through this first, and then we will find our time, make our time to party. All right. Okay. All right. So go back to your comments. Yes, correct. Let's get through the next few months. I agree. Yes. Shout out to my fellow Buckeyes. I'm in Ohio. I'm in Cleveland. I'm just near Lake Erie. Looking at the possibility of going back up to place they call Marblehead in Lakeside. It's up, going kind of up, if you're familiar with the world famous Cedar Point. I love it up there. That's like a vacation in itself. Okay. Yes. Kim says, I went to Trump rally in Vegas. Wow. Met so many cool people. We all waited hours and hours in 110 degrees. Yeah, that's another thing. We got to take the temperature into consideration. Well, there you go. Carrie says, I've never been to America, but here I come. And she's in Australia. I know that. So there we go. We're not only are we getting people here in the States, we're going to have people coming from, out of the country just to come to a Patriot party because they've been in this community for a long time. And that would just be amazing. I think it'd be one of the most amazing highlights of my life, next to marrying my wife and my children being born and my grandchildren being born. That would be one of the highlights of my life, is to pull this off. And the comments just started flowing after I started talking about that. All right. So, again, Awaken Alone. All right. What time is it? 8:30. So we're an hour and a half in. Awaken Alone. I know a lot of you are out here resonating right now with this, and you have your stories. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do after the show is over, I'm going to create a post. All right. I'll do it on Facebook. And I'll create a post. And I'm going to want you guys, because you have a better chance of commenting on there and getting it posted much lengthier, I guess, because doing this in real time is not that easy doing a one-man show. But I'll post a post about hearing your stories and your thoughts about being awake and alone. So I'll do that right after the show as well. Okay. Yes, we absolutely need something to look forward to. I do look forward to that so much in that day. We have been through so much crap. It's unbelievable. And I know economically everybody's hurting, no question about it. Okay. That and we know the price of food and everything like that is just, somebody made that comment the other day and I stole it. And what I mean by stole it is that I now say it. But when Trump used the word bloodbath and they made such a big deal about it, somebody said the real bloodbath is when you get when you get the final total at the grocery checkout line. That's a bloodbath. So yep, that makes complete sense to me. This economy will be restored. This is why they're crapping their pants right now. I am looking forward to that day. I'm looking forward to getting back into investing, put it that way. It's just a terrible time right now. I'm looking forward to so much. It's going to happen. It's not going to be easy. I don't know if it's going to be the traditional route that we have a date for on November 5th, but it's going to happen. I know podcasts and the news, the current news, can turn into a lot of terrible things and a lot of bad news and a lot of doom and gloom, rightfully so. I get it. But nothing great was ever achieved without going through dark times. And we are going through some of the darkest times yet. And it's, again, a warning, no fear-mongering. It's going to get more rocky, okay? It's going to get more bumpy along the way. I'll just say that. And be there for those people when they finally want to start saying, okay, let me ask my conspiracy theory friend, because I got questions now. So be there for those people. Okay. All right. Yes, it's very difficult. People, they're still talking in the comments about where to go. I've never been to Oregon. People are saying Oregon, things like that. That's quite interesting. All right. So again, this is like one of the parts of the show where I'm monitoring the comments so much, and I don't like dead air. Okay, so I apologize for that. I try to be talking at the same time. Okay. Oh, interesting. Charlene says perhaps this week, maybe even tomorrow, will be a Red Sea moment. I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll say to those folks listening out there who have lost hope, who are giving up, or who have. This is the part where I talked about when people have whatever you call it, truther page, and they post stuff repetitiously over the years to try and get you excited, and they never come to pass. That is a problem that has caused a big problem in our movement, whatever I get movement is, but it's caused a big problem because people have said, I've heard it year after year. This person said it was coming and the election was going to get overturned. This is why I never talk that way. And this is going to happen, and only to be disappointed. I will tell you this because I know I have a good track record that I promise. Well, I don't want to say that because I'm not God, but I can almost assure you with certainty and confidence that these times are coming. I have no idea if they're going to rectify 2020 election or who's going to get thrown in Gitmo, etc. I don't know. All right, I know who I'd like to see and what to happen, but I do know that I've used the term before about a new world awaits. I believe that. I believe that things will be restored. The economy will be restored. I believe the country will be restored. The division will get rid of that. How that's going to happen, I don't know. An act of God, for all I know. But I don't know how that is going to happen. But it will happen. It's going to take some time. We're going to have to re-educate an entire generation. One of my biggest concerns personally is the schools. What the education is going to be like in our school system. What will history be like? How will history be told and taught? That is so important right now. And I've said it before. When I was a kid, boy, I used to hate history class as a kid. I would love it today. But a history teacher is never going to have a dull moment in class, especially in government. Oh boy, crazy. Yes, we are living in biblical times. No question about that. No question about that. Hey, Bruce, a sidetrack here. Your hair is super long. Yeah, it's getting long. I told you guys a while back, before 2024, I'm going to give Steve Bannon a run for his money. And I think I've surpassed that. I like it. It's just I'm going through my midlife crisis artistic phase side. All right. My artistic phase side is me. I'm behind the scenes. I've been writing quite a bit. I wish I would have found you before the 2020 election. I was following those fools back then. And that's the truth. I'm not going to name names, but there were fools out there putting crap out there over and over again. And you know who they are now. You don't have to admit it. And please don't comment in there. I don't want no name. We don't need that. Okay. But people proven themselves. They've proven themselves, and they know who those people are out there. And we don't need that anymore, especially right now in this situation we're in. We are at the final stretch. There, I am a teacher, and I just can't anymore with all the lies and indoctrination. There you go. Okay, I think it's very important what happens to the education system. We have so much work to do ahead of us. So much work to do, and we can't. That's why I said it is a 12-year election, because a 4-year election with President Trump fixing everything again and then giving it away again in 2028. That can't happen. We can't let that happen. I mean, oh, yeah. So, anyways, all right. So here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do on Tuesday night. All right, 8 p.m. I'll put the links out there on Tuesday. We're going to have a show on preparedness. I'm bringing Josh on from the veteran from the U.S. Air Force. We're going to talk about things about being prepared. I'm going to also rely on your comments as well, what you guys are doing when it comes to preparedness. We're going to talk about, from foods to supplies to everything else. I'm going to be even discussing. I'm actually looking at something right now to where I'm looking at. I know, I get it. Okay. I'll discuss my current situation and my A2 situation, but I'm also looking, and I'm going to talk to Josh about certain things that are highly effective but non-lethal as well. If you want to be in that department, maybe you're somebody who doesn't kind of fear guns per se. So there's other alternatives. And this is, I want to do it responsibly and not turn it into this fearmonger show, because I don't want to be doom and gloom to where, stock up now, get in your bunker, get your gun and sit there. No, not at all. The best thing about the show, and like I was talking to someone earlier, it is better to be prepared and for nothing to happen at all. That is the best outcome that we could possibly have. The worst outcome is to be unprepared and then something does happen. So better to be prepared and nothing happens at the end of the day. That's a good thing. Okay. You guys got to stop talking about my hair. You want to color my hair now? I don't know. I'm not a superficial guy. I never have been. Look, I can go out, I can dress nice, look nice. I've just never been a superficial guy like that. See, if I start coloring my hair, then I'm gonna start getting put myself in a category of someone I don't want to be. You guys are crazy. Actually, my hair right now is in a ponytail. And then you see it's in the middle, in the back. Nice long ponytail. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Gray hair looks great. Thank you to all us men out there with gray hair. I salute you. Yes, thank you. Coming to my defense. Leave my hair alone. Uh, I'm real. I'm myself. And that's what we all need to be. Yeah. There we go. Angelo, look at his hair, man. I've been letting my hair grow. It's super long and silver. You are rocking that hair right there, brother. That's all right there. Uh, Somebody said, Bruce, what happened to your dog? Well, I never made it public, but people ask me this question quite often. Unfortunately, I had to give the dog up to a home with children right around the corner from me. The reason that is this is just before my dad passed away. I was caring for my dad who had dementia, and my life was turned upside down. How I pulled off doing the news in between is just amazing to me. Going to nursing homes and in and out of hospitals and caring for him at dementia. When he was in the home, he was doing things. He almost set the house on fire, calling the police. It was very strenuous in my life. The dog at the time, I know how I raised dogs my whole life, but he was getting too rambunctious. And unfortunately, my dad is a huge dog lover. Well, he wouldn't leave the dog alone because the dog just wanted to play, rightfully so. But he kept hurting him, and I kept trimming his nails. But my dad was not listening, and he kept cutting my dad up, who was on blood thinners, and he's bleeding all the time. And he would sneak and play with my dog, and I'd wake up in the morning, he had cuts all over his arms, and I kept trimming it. It was out of control. So I said I had to make a sacrifice, and I found an incredible family with kids right around the corner, so I could see him anytime. So that's where the dog I had after my wife died went to, and that was just because of what I just explained. So that's where the dog Floyd went to, and Floyd is perfectly fine, doing great. I wish that didn't happen, but unfortunately, I had to make a small sacrifice. So, but in salute to my father, who was a U.S. veteran, and to all you veterans out there for that point, I salute you all, absolutely. So, but I do have a dog though. Don't get my father had a dog too, and now that was a completely different dog, very little, tiny Chihuahua. I have a dog, Chico, and yeah, so we do have one family pet. All right, enough about me. I don't know how this conversation everybody's talking about colored hair. What happened here at the end of this show? This is crazy. All right. In closing, let's do this. It is Sunday night. I like to choose 7:00 on purpose because I know everybody wants to get to bed at a certain time, and people are getting up for work, etc., and they're calling it a night. I want to thank you for tuning into the show tonight. I will see you again on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I will post those links on Tuesday. Again, if you're new, I want to thank everybody who follows me, who trusts in my reporting. If you'd like to support my work, I think in at the top there's a link there with how you can contribute and support my work. My work's totally free. Always will be free. I do work on some donations. They help me. They help me pay for costs. If I could take the camera, but I have it mounted, I could show you all the equipment and what's going on actually on the sides of me and all this. So, and I love it. I love it. And for many platforms I'm on too. So, and I thank you all. I am not perfect. I want to say something real quick since this topic is brought up. I am not perfect I try to thank everybody for every single donation. The only platform I'm having issues with all the time is PayPal. I can't figure it out because I go to thank somebody and it doesn't let me because it's on private and stuff. So if you've donated on PayPal, I thank you from the bottom of my heart over the past weeks, months, past year, and so on. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're not forgotten. I need an assistant and a secretary. I really do. This is a good thing. These are good problems to have. Okay. But again, I thank you all. I really appreciate it. Again, I have a new Facebook page. Go to my Facebook page that I'm on right now. Go to the top. It's pinned. Go to the first comment. You'll see that I commented from the other page. Still Bruce Snyder, with just a different profile pic. Just click that or click the link tree, and it'll take you. It says new Facebook page, new emergency backup Facebook page. I have not accepted any friend requests. The only friends on there are myself and my friend Josh that I just spoke about, who will be on the show Tuesday night. I will start accepting friend requests tomorrow. I know people said it says I can't send you a friend request, etc. I need to start accepting friend requests for that to change. So give it time. At least hit the follow button. All right. So we'll work that all out. So give it about a week. We'll get everybody in there and friended and everything else. Okay. Is following better? Is following better than friend request? I really don't know. Because I'm not a Facebook guy. Now, you're saying, what are you talking about? I don't do Facebook. Okay. And what I mean by that is I don't go on Facebook and go looking at other posts. The only place I've really ever gone is Dan Scavino. But I last night I did, and I posted that funny shot of the monkey because some of the posts I seen on here were just amazing, just dumbfounding, and I thought it was quite humorous. But I'm not I don't do Facebook like probably most people might who are on Facebook. I only use Facebook for my platform because I realize there's a great community out here. So I don't have the answers following better or friends. So I don't know. I think the idea is censorship is out here. Just know who you want to follow. It's like I don't like I mentioned Dan Scavino. I just go to his page. That's all I do. I don't wait for a notification or look for him in my feed. That goes with me, guys. Don't wait for my post. Go to my feed. That's all you need to do. Go to my page. You're welcome. God bless you guys. I appreciate everyone so much. I'm sorry about that. My mom and dad both had dementia. It's not easy for anyone. You're absolutely right. My heart goes out to you. And by the way, I said it before when I was in the nursing home with my father and he was going through dementia. You nurses and you caregivers are rock stars, man. I couldn't do it. I don't have the patience. Like people say, I couldn't. How do you do what you do and report all the news and do all that? Because I'm good at it. All right. It's just like you're good at your job. That's why nurses and caregivers and all those that fall in that medical community category, you are rock stars. I could never do your job. I don't have the ability or the patience to do it. Thank God for you. All right. You're welcome, guys. Anyways, we're gonna rock. I'm gonna put that post up. We're gonna put a wake and alone post up, and I want to hear all your comments and your feedback or even your short stories in there as well, because a post like that makes us grow together as a community. Because when we put ourselves out there, you can absolutely trust my page. When we put ourselves out there, this is how we bond better. This is the greatest thing I love about my platform, is seeing all of you making friends and the community growing. That is the most rewarding part for me. God bless all of you guys, and I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful evening.